We are talking about your personality within human design and our Intro to Human Design podcast series that we have been on. Okay, this is your profile equals your personality. When you get your human design chart and it's in front of you, you're going to see profile. It will say 624613, all the fun numbers. So that's what we're talking about. This is the fun part of human design because it really starts to bring in that real uniqueness into your chart, and then it goes so much deeper. So, hello. Hey, I'm Lacie Jaye. Welcome to Hey Lacie Jaye, the podcast where we take a whole ass approach to life. We are doing our Intro to Human Design podcast series. We're talking about profile. Let's dive in. So, the first number with your profile, so if it says 62, which obviously is mine, the easiest example, is the first number is your inner self. It's how you view yourself. The second number is your outer self, how other people see you. So just to give you a little bit of the background, how that can kind of play around with things and how that can shift, like, depending on where the numbers are. So there are 12 different profile types. We are not going to go over all of them today, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to share kind of the difference of the numbers so you can get a little bit of information on the numbers. And then I want to share and break down my own personal profile so you can get an idea, and I can share from my own personal experience. And then if you want to dive into yours, book a self-discovery call. It is to unlock your confidence using human design. It's a one-on-one call. It's so good, you guys. It just allows us to really talk about how your human design can apply to life, business, marriage, really all areas of your life. We have a very beautiful discussion. It's interactive if you want it to be, and we just kind of go from there. So with that being said, profiles, 1 is the knowledge seeker. With that 1, there's this lots of wanting to learn and have lots of knowledge and to seek things. I always say that they're the ones who want to turn over every single stone so that they can learn and dive deeper into things until they hit rock bottom, and then they keep digging for information. I live with a 1. So I see that on the daily. I actually live with 2 of them. The 2 is the natural. You naturally have skills and gifts that you are meant to share with the world. Things come naturally to you. I have a 2 within my profile. This is very much the truth in my life and something that I had to get used to and understand. The 3 is the experimenter. So you are wanting to try things. Oh man, you are meant to live life and truly live life. You are going to, if someone tells you not to do something, you're going to do it because you actually have to experience it for yourself. The biggest thing about a 3 is that there should not, let go of the regrets, because everything truly is a stepping stone to get you to where you are. Go live it. Go live it. 4 is the people person. So making connections, knowing who is right for you, wrong for you. I see this all the time within one of my children, within one of my kids. That was funny how that said. And I noticed that they really they're very hesitant to who they let into their circle. But once you are in their circle, that connection is incredible. They know who is right for them and they ditch the rest. It's very interesting to see how that works within a child dynamic and how they work with other children and how they work with adults as well. 5 is the liberator. So sorting things out, having solutions. People tend to come to them for help. They are like that hero. Obviously, depending on where the 5 is placed in your profile can definitely change things up. We can talk about that if you want to go further into that. And then 6 is the role model. I am a 6-2, so 6 is the way that I see myself as this role model. I am meant to just be myself, and then that radiates out to other people. Living my life then inspires other people to live their life. And I just think that is really cool because I've always had this idea of like her life out loud, living your life out loud, because the goal is, if I share my life, hopefully it inspires or helps one other person to not feel alone. And that's the whole reason why all of these brands and the things that I'm doing are happening. It's why I'm sharing human design. It's why I'm doing a podcast. It's why I love to share my story. And it comes with its own thing. But the cool thing, so the thing about the 6 is that you actually live your life in 3 phases. These ages are guesstimates, okay? They're rough estimates. That doesn't mean that right when you hit the age 30, things shift. But roughly 0 to 30 is living as a 3, that experimenter. You're meant to play with life. You're meant to live life. You're meant to literally try everything. And that is so much truth. Like as a 6-2, that was my life. Like I was running around. I wanted to do everything. And you're learning and making mistakes and figuring things out. That 30 to 50 is you retreat, you go inward, and you really start to see, you have this like healing. You start to take what you learned from, say, your quote unquote mistakes and turn that into wisdom. What did you learn? How can you then figure out what's right for you? Ditch the rest, move along. And then that 50 plus is all coming together as this like wise soul. And man, am I in the process of figuring out that switching from that 30 to 50 range, it's a whole thing. So because I'm not going to go through all 12 profiles, I shared that I would take my profile, kind of break it down a little bit as a 6-2. So if you're a 6-2, you are welcome. You get some golden nuggets for you. And even if you're not a 6-2, I think that you can start to understand how these numbers can connect. And I hope that it gets you excited to learn about your own profile within your human design and your personality. And just, it's so fun talking to people because they're like, no way, that's so cool. And you just get these light up moments, these aha moments, and it's so fun. So the 6-2, the name of the 6-2, at least from the mentor that I learned human design from, and really it can change between anyone. I just keep up with like what my mentor shared with me, which is the exemplary human. The 6 is that wise sage. So I'm going to break down kind of the 6 and 2 and then how they come together. So the 6 is the wise sage, right? It's that innate wisdom. You just kind of know things, and it's just so true. Again, you have that 0 to 30, which is experimenting with life. The 30 to 50 is selective, what you want to put your energy to. And then the 50 plus is taking that and becoming this wise old soul to the rest of the world. Now, I want to share with that phase, that moving from that 30, that 3, because as that first 30 years, you're living as a 3, you're experimenting, into that 6. Man, it has just been such a journey because I was like, go. I mean, I'm extroverted anyway. So I was like, go, go, go. Experiment, do everything. And over the last couple of years, I've started to see myself kind of go inward, right? Going inward and reflecting and wanting a lot more time by myself and just kind of hermiting and just kind of like being and trying to figure it all out. And how can I make my story of like the last 6 years of being on a confidence, self-love journey? Like now I'm wanting to take what I've learned and share it because it's something that was so key, and I'm ditching the rest of the crap. Like I just don't want that anymore. But it is a big shift because here you are for your first 30 years of your life. Everything you've ever known is living as this experimenter and playing with life, to things are starting to shift, and it's just awkward. It's just interesting. It's really learning that it's okay that shifts are happening. So if you have a 6 within your profile, I would love to know how much how much you can relate to that, right? So a 6, you're meant to be seen as a role model. But the thing about this, and that I am learning, is that you have to see yourself as a role model first. So if you don't see yourself as a role model, people won't see you as a role model. And so that's really what I'm stepping into right now, especially understanding my human design, is sharing my experience, sharing that I just have these things that come up, sharing life, sharing what I've been through. And then that way people can say, wow, I love what you're doing, and they want to like learn more. So that's that 6. The 2, which it's funny because I actually kind of just pieced the 2 together a little bit, but the 2 is the natural, right? You just know things. You're naturally good at things and you can't always explain it. You just kind of know. And that is so much the truth. I'm just kind of like, well, it just is. It just is. Like, I can't explain it. But the thing about that is that other people, like, because I'm naturally good at things, I just expect that everyone is kind of good at these things. And so it's not really a big deal. But other people will see these gifts that I have and I'm like, what are you even talking about? And so other people usually see it before I see the gifts. And so it really is having some key people in your life to help you see what you're a natural at, what you naturally are good at, what you're naturally sharing, who you are. And so that has been a really cool, like, gold nugget for me of understanding, like, oh, there's a reason why people are like, oh, Lacie, go do this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? More and more recently, even just what I'm doing right now and going into coaching, I've had a really key person in my life pushing me. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, you have to remind me that I do have a natural gift, because it doesn't feel like a natural gift. It just feels like it is. Now, the thing about being a 2 is there's this like hermit side to it. I don't really like being disturbed. When I am fully into what I am doing, leave me alone. I can sit in this, either in my bed or my house or the coffee shop, and I am in it. I am in it to win it. I love it. That is really hard as a mom though sometimes, especially when there's no one else helping. If your husband or your spouse or your partner is at work, like, you have kids. But it is one of my biggest frustrations that I'm like, just leave me alone. Let me lock the door, because I can get so much stuff done. I love it. I feel creative. I feel so fulfilled and satisfied. And, that's my signature within human design. There's an episode on that as well if you want to understand your signature a little more. So that's just the idea of how the 2 pieces work and then how they come together. One thing that my mentor had shared about a 6-2 is, like, you get to be the adult your inner child, your child self would have wanted. And I think that is actually really a key thing to be said. I feel like that's a very true in my life, especially as I pick apart other things, which I'll share more on the next episode, which is all about gifts. But how I want to show up as a human, how I want to show up as an adult, how I want to show up as as a mom or as a wife, like, it is all of, like, what I wanted when I was a child and showing up as that best self. So the thing about the 6-2 is this idea of, like, life is shiny and bright and fun. And the only person that you're meant to compare yourself with is that inner self, is that inner idea of who you wanted to be. But you are meant to run after your dreams, which I'm fully in the middle of doing. And I will tell you, it's the most incredible feeling. And also, like, what is happening? What are we doing here? When you are doing what lights you up, and then as a 6-2, you really start to wonder and you can get really frustrated. And you're like, why are people not, like, they're slow. They can't keep up with you, because it's just this natural way of knowing. You're just going in it and you are being you. The thing about a 6-2 is you just have this natural ability and this potential to be just this incredible and extraordinary human. Obviously, each profile has their own thing, but speaking with that 6-2, it's just, you have the potential to just be big, and it's amazing. But so many times 6-2s will say, well, I'm questioning myself. I want to be perfect. And I will tell you, the thing that has held me back the most in my own life is this idea of perfection. My podcast had to be perfect. My whole life had to look perfect. The way I show up. Well, I don't know everything within human designs. I have notes, for goodness sake, because I don't know everything well, but that's not perfect. So I can't teach about human design, even though I am so lit up by it. I love it so much. Well, I can't, right? Because it's not perfect, and it's held me back for so long. And so again, it's just realizing, like, you have so much potential. Just be really aware if you're starting to see this idea of perfectionism coming up or questioning yourself on everything that you're doing, like take a step back and really start to see like what is going on and why are those things coming up, and take time to go within and really sit with yourself. The thing about being a 6'2" is there can be a lot of micromanaging, and I have definitely seen this in my life, wanting to micromanage literally everyone or everything in my life. You know, when you get married, there's been lots of micromanaging there of like, it needs to be a certain way. And I'm there, and it doesn't always work out in your relationship. And, you know, you start to learn a lot of things, but understanding that it's because I can delegate and I can trust, or I can give things to people when you show to me that I can trust you. When I can trust you, I don't have to micromanage. But also being aware of the micromanaging, that people don't want to be micromanaged in your life. One thing that you have to be aware of when it comes to being a 6'2" profile is this idea of not focusing so much on where other people's fall short. Unfortunately, if I got on an episode with Ben, he would probably be having like a truthful conversation that I will nitpick and focus where other people are falling short. Like, why didn't you do this? And the more I learn about this personality side, the more that I can just, you know, let people be people and be human and fail and have their own failures, because, you know, I did that too, but now I'm perfect. No, but that is something that I've had to be super aware of and understand. And oh man, when I read about this part of the human, or the profile, the 6'2" profile, is this idea that you can stand above trivial things and going through trials and hard things. Like, man, is it not the truth? Like, I look at my life and things that have happened in my life, and I'm like, you're right, I totally can do this. And it's wild, and it's been a crazy, crazy journey. So I have a couple other notes that I'm just kind of going off of. Usually in my podcast, it's like winging it and what feels about this, but there were some key things I just didn't want to forget. But, you know, you were born this kind of old soul, and a lot of us have these like high standards as a 6'2". We also don't like surface level conversations. I'm pretty sure in one of my old podcasts, when I was doing Her Life Out Loud, one of the things that I would say so often is like, I don't want to have surface level conversations. Like, I want to go deep with people. And if it's so interesting between that personality and then you look at some of my gifts within human design, that is actually just, it's so key. That is something that is really important to me. Like, I love having in-depth conversations that go straight within and like actually really what's going on, because here's where I'm at, and just wanting that deep connection is really key. Another thing about 6'2" is they're here to impact strangers and just impact the people around you. I think this is so beautiful. And again, I can see it in my own life. Like, what I've noticed is so many times, like, I will actually have an impact on people that I don't realize that I'm having an impact on. Or sometimes I question, am I even having an impact? Because the impact that I have can start to happen once someone leaves me, right? I'm not seeing it right then and there. And so there's that question of like, well, what am I even doing anything? Am I even helping the world? Am I even helping these people? But the impact it has that ripple effect later on. Something that's key for 6'2" is this idea of you can't fit them in a box. They're going to do what they want anyways. And I was on a coaching call with another human design mentor, and she was incredible. I was asking her like, hey, I have some human design coming up. How should I like make this happen? She's like, what are you? And we were talking. She's like, well, first of all, you're going to just do whatever you want anyways. Like, you are meant to not be in a box. You are meant to do things the way that you're meant to do them. And in one way, it's really freeing, because I do like to do things my way. And if someone tells me to do it a certain way, I'm probably going to do it differently. Now it's always finding like, okay, am I just being stubborn and I think that it's best? Or have I just never trusted myself to fully go the direction that I want to go? And so I keep myself in a box, like being like, well, I want to do that, but I'm supposed to do it this way. And I've seen that in building my own businesses with like different network marketing companies. Like, before the text messaging got cool, I was like, I want to do text messaging. And then I was like, oh, but no one else is doing it. It's like, I should have done it. Now everyone uses the text messaging apps and all sorts of stuff. And so it's learning to really step in and trust yourself. Some of the biggest struggles that you can see with a 6-2 is this comparing other people, or the struggle to watch other people succeed while you're just kind of in your life, and just really like being aware of that. I think when you have that awareness of the conditioning that you may have within each part of your human design, and the struggles that you may have of just because we're human and how we were raised, like having that awareness then starts to say, hey, well, when I see that actually happen in my life, comparison used to kill me, right? I do believe that comparison is such a thief of joy. I've said that, I've talked about that. That was just my life. Like, I always felt like I was being compared or comparing myself to other people. And the more that I step into just being Lacie and who I am and understanding my design and just honestly trusting myself more, not even within the human design system, but that tool has helped me to get to this place. It is so beautiful. So I think the biggest thing to come across with that 6-2 is the idea that we've had a lot of conditioning as children, right? We just know things. And I would say that parenting is a lot different in this day and age, where we really approach children so differently. At least I am. And that partially is because of human design and understanding my children's human design and helping them to like see their gifts and who they are. But at the age that we kind of grew up in, if you're a little bit older with that 6-2 and understanding and just having these knowing, children don't know anything. Children don't know this. You shouldn't know that. You're so young. And that is a lot of conditioning that some of us can really hold on to right now. And it's letting that go and understanding, wow, I actually did know stuff. I actually could trust myself. And again, it takes that aspect of understanding your authority to trust yourself to make decisions, or, it all starts to like combine and come together in this beautiful like tool. So I would say the biggest battle that I have as a 6-2 is this like wanting to shine as a role model and like, here I am. And then the 2 side is like, we're a hermit. We don't want to do anything. Sit your butt down. I don't want to shine. Let's sit down. Let's hide actually in a cave. That would be really nice. And so it's this battle between the 2 always. Anyways, that is a little bit more on profiles. If you're wanting to learn more about your own profile, download your free human design chart. It's like the easiest way to start. You can come back and listen to these episodes. I have some really cool stuff that I'm working on and trying to get out into the world for a next step if a one-on-one coaching call is not for you. But I do have the self-discovery coaching calls. It's one-on-one video. It's 1 hour, and we use the power of human design to unlock your confidence and to give you some really tangible things and tools that you can take within the area that you're wanting help. So if that's business, if that's life, if that's relationship, it's really helping you to go within and understand who you are and how you work, and then being able to start playing around with it. Because again, human design is an experiment. If it brings you more joy, if it lights you up, if it makes life sweeter, keep going. But if it doesn't, you can always go back to the way that you were living. I hope you have a great day.